YouTube, Antics here with the swole on the front. And if you need the explainer, I'm the Alpha Tamer. And today I am joined by the master, and I do not exaggerate, the master of black decks himself, Lichi. Lichi, how are you doing today, buddy?
Hey, Antics, I'm pretty good. Thanks for that. That's for a really cool intro. But yeah, I am exhausted because we're just off. Just ended the tournament on regionals after 8 rounds, but feeling pretty good with the results though.
All right. So speaking of the results, would you mind telling us what your result was and what deck you did it with?
So I got X1 undefeated until the final round. And I was playing Alphamon. And played up until the final match. Lost the final match, and yeah, shot me down to third place, but it was all good, and it was all fun too.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to let you take us away.
Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, we'll do quickly enough we'll do quickly the deck profile. Let me just real quick. It's not that hard, or it's not that crazy. It's just 4 Dorimons as the egg, 4 Cool Boys as your tamer, your main tamer, and your main search. So only 3 defense training because deck space is kind of tight. So essentially, these are your searchers on your deck. Cool Boy searches everything on this deck, so he's perfect right now. And we have these 3 Dorumons that gives a +1k all turns. 4 Dorumons, the one that lets you gain memory whenever you tuck under a source, and 3 Ryudamons. Just decoy might come up, but it's still a good searcher. So you end up with like 7 rookie searchers. And essentially, like doing deck builds at first, kind of want to check how much your ratios are for your opening hands. But with this one, I got 10 rookies and 7 2-cost searchers. So that's like a 17 probable hits for your opening hand. That's a reasoning for going into like deck building. So that's the rookie count. And then we're going into level 4, 3 Dorugamons, the blocker one, and 3 of the 4-cost BT15 Dorugamons. It just has the +1k DP. The blockers one is nice for like aggro decks. Let's say someone tries to chip you with an Ukumon and you started first. He comes out nice, but I essentially made a split on this one because the 4-drop does come out whenever you do your or you can place and you have that enough memory to just drop this for 4 and essentially do another play. And to round it off, we have 4 Dex Dorugamon. Simple enough. It's just Evos on top of the Dorugamon. The blocker Retile always will come up. If you ever have it, then the Cool Boy, just proccing the Cool Boy is essential for this deck, where it just gives you so much advantage. And people once complained about Cool Boy being busted, and he is still pretty good. Now for level 5s, 4 Doru Greymon, the BT13 one, and 1 of the limited one, the Doru Greymon limited, that gives Sec +1. Of course you need to have this. But this BT13 Doru Greymon saved Alphamon on the previous formats because this card is making the deck really work. And yeah, it just does a lot of work, especially the end of turn. Once per turn, you tuck in an X antibody trait under the source, and it triggers just so much for your effects, and it just gives you a whole lot of sources for or you can play when you do take out sources and gain that juicy memory after the end of turn. So there's that one, and we have 3 Dex Doru Greymon. Again, a Cool Boy trigger is nice always for like consistency and extra draw. But just popping floodgates, like popping the Chumon. Always for this one, you have to be keen when they're gonna drop their floodgate on you. Because this deck is weak up against memory blockers. Then that's the level 5s, level 6s, 3 Oryumons, 2 D-Digivolve Alphamon, and 2 BT13 Alphamon. So the level 6s have their own utility for each. Currently, Oryumon is your best answer for purple decks, Leviamon, Lugamon. Once it has a source tucked under it with its your turn once per turn, you tuck a source under it, gets plus 2 KDP, and can't be deleted by effects. It just walls a lot of the purple decks currently. And maybe Davis, I have to learn that matchup more. I'll talk about it in a bit, but Oryumon is your winning card on a lot of the purple matchups right now. And it's so sticky and annoying if, let's say, you do a Dex Dorumon, blocker retaliate, then Evo to level 5 and Evo into Oryumon. The when Digivolving pops a play cost 7 or less, it comes up, but this is essentially for the protection stack. And yeah, just having like a stack on board that will threaten your opponent anytime. And the your turn once per turn, you could keep the stack ongoing for multiple turns with the protection to not be deleted because of this Doru Gray that lets you tuck end of turn a source under. It gains the plus 2 KDP and the protection. So purple players are really annoyed on this card. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Tessero would be so annoyed with this one. And it just lets you draw and gain memory and just keep standing there. The 2 Alphamon D Digivolve one before, this was a 3 of the BT13 ones, but the D Digivolve Alphamon currently is useful for, let's say, the Nume matchups, the Monzai matchups. A D Digivolve does come up where you D Digivolve their stack and maybe they were expecting the stack to just get popped, but instead you D Digivolve it and they don't get their X antibody procs. And the 3-cost Evo is like just cheaper. So whenever you do want to Evo for cheap with an Oryu under and go into Oryuken, comes up. It has its uses for some matchups, and the Alphamon BT13, this is your key card for beating Mirage matchups. Mirage hates Alphamon BT13 just because they need to essentially cast the protection of all turns once per turn. Whenever this card would be removed from play, you could just take an X antibody trait under the source to prevent the removal. Then the when Digivolving is play cost 10 or more can attack players, so it'll let you have a turn just in case you're about to get checked insecurity by some higher play cost Digimon. But because it's really sticky on board, so Mirage players don't really like seeing this one. Whenever you have a stack on this one and they can't really raise their Mirage Gao out or go into like a burst mode, because you could just potentially Evo into Oryumon and wipe their high stack out. So every single card here is like a toolbox for the format. And then, yeah, the 3 copies of Oryuken, your level 7, Evo for 3, pop the highest play cost, all highest play cost, but it's always, Oryuken has the end of turn. You could take as many sources of X antibody traits under the stack to gain a memory each. So it'll just open up some place where I'll speak of the final cards here. Open up some place, especially with this card. So this card is the winning card on this format, and yeah, it just plays really well into the meta right now. Final Zubagon Punch. I was running 2 of, but the real answer was 3 copies. This card lets you go through the yellow vaccine matchup. You could do some really nasty plays with it, especially when Oryumon on the purple matchup, you get your deletion protection, but you don't have blocker always. You keep your Oryumon having Zubagon punch, essentially swing with Oryumon, the 2 checks, but then you gain the protection, then a blocker reboot. So Zubagon keeps your Oryumon standing on the purple matchup, keeps you protected from OTK, from like a Luga or a Levia or a Levia X. And yeah, 2 Zubagon numbers was not the answer. It was just actually 3. Because I was playing around with Sonorizamons on my rookie count just to gain that Sec +1. But I think just having Zubagon there and having consistency with Coolboy and all, Coolboy could search for every single rookie so you don't break would really help out. And to end it out, I'm just playing 1 Death X and 1 Ultimate Flare. These are especially good with like a lot of the matchups. Death X always good, but mainly for the Nume matchup and the Monzai matchup. And Ultimate Flare, I always need a 1-of Ultimate Flare. If you guys ever followed me before,
Yeah.
there's always a 1 Ultimate
It's your
Flare in every
trademark.
single black deck.
Yeah, it's your trademark. It's always in each of your decks. I had a bet with some friends. I'm like, I bet Lichi's playing Ultimate Flare in this deck.
Yeah, that's a 1 card I'm never taking out of. Say this card saved me so many times on a whole bunch of games already. Just gives you some clutch wins. Like I won Evo Cup last night. Get that Magnamon champion card. I played up against a yellow vaccine player, and yeah, he had a ruin mode. Ruin mode go swing minus 10k to the board. I can't raise my stack because I had a level 4. And he just dropped like 3 rookies out, thinking it's like, oh, that's enough of this game. All right, let me flare your board and give me 1 more turn. And yeah, the next turn I just like destroyed his whole security afterwards with an OTK with a Zubagon. So flare always coming in clutch. Sometimes it won't, but you never not want to not have an ultimate flare in your deck, especially if you're a black player.
Nice. Would you mind just briefly telling us what you played against today?
Yeah, let me go from lowest to the final match, I guess, because the final match I lost. I played against Mirage, Yellow Vaccine, Leviamon, Numemon, Monzaimon, and played up against Lugamon, played up against Red Yellow Secon, and my final match was Deva, or 4 Sovereigns. So yeah, those were the 7. I had a really diverse tournament. So those were like the 7 decks I played up against.
Nice.
And yeah, especially with Alphamon, you do have to learn every single matchup on a format to play well with this deck, because this deck, I feel on this format could just play up against any single deck on this format. Sadly, Davis was the 1 deck I'm really inexperienced with. I have not played up against some good Deva players at all. So, and it was the final match, and I lost to Davis. I feel like I did a whole bunch of misplays, but it was a fun match though. I'm happy our winner of the tournament won with Davis, but I do have to learn that matchup. But once Alphamon as a deck does learn a matchup, it just answers anything essentially. Let's say example Yellow Vaccine. My answers would easily be the Sec Plus. You just you push hard enough under security, and they can't do any Patamon plays to Evo from security, and they get punished that way. Yellow Vaccine does have a really good let's say like opener where they gain memory and they set up fast, but you do have your own answers where you do have Sec Plus, you do have DP protection, and you memory gain off, or you can and Cool Boy lets you have the consistency. Nume is like a 50-50 matchup always, but uh, taking in the Death X and the Flare is pretty good, and the deck Dorugray is like your answers. Lugamon, once you know that Oryumon is the answer and having 3 Zubagon punches in the deck, you're always safe with a really huge stack that can't be deleted by any effects. Mirage, your answer again was like the Alphamon BT13. Not let them swing, and whenever they go tall, you could punish them into or you can anytime. And they need like a double removal for it to actually just like push this, send it to your hand. So that's really difficult for them to do. Then Secon is essentially a little bit the same with Yellow Vaccine, but you do have an advantage because they give you memory. You just don't need to rush on your swings so that you don't hit any tamers. But yeah, again, DP protection, multiple security checks, end of attack with Oryumon and suspend. As you go through it fast, Leviamon is the same way with Lugamon. Oryumon is your answer, and the triple Zubagon is to wall them off and make it hard for them to push for security fast, because what they need to do up against this deck is just really push hard. Davis, I don't have an answer for Davis yet because I have no clue what the deck does. So, eventually, I'm gonna have to play with the winner a couple of sets to make to see how Davis work, because I feel Alpha does have a huge advantage because Davis drops like play cost 7, then you do like or you want to pop a play cost 7, you do have like DP protection, deletion protection, you have multiple swings, and the amount of memory they give you is just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I just had no clue what I was playing against. I had a 19k DP or something, like it was like 16 or 17 maybe. Oryumon swing at their security, and I didn't realize they had that Deva rabbit that goes up and swings alliance with the Mother D Reaper, and I just lost a stack. I'm like, oh, what am I doing?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's tricky, but
but
you'll be back. You're always back. You're always back up here at the top, Lichi. So it's no
yeah,
surprise to us that you're here. Well, thanks so much for the
thank.
deck profile. Would you any shout outs you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to all my friends on the Digimon community. You guys are always great. It's good to be back. I've been out from playing Digimon for a bit. I've been taking a break, been busy with work and stuff. But yeah, Alphamon, black players don't lose hope. This deck is really good in the format. Sadly, I've been hiding, and but never is never too late. I just got to get the win off of this format. Next format, see, I'll probably try to play a little bit more. But yeah, shout out to everyone I play with and all my friends.
Awesome. Well, Lichi, we're definitely looking forward to seeing you back on the channel and back for more deck profiles and wins as well.
All right, antics. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Old limit break buddies.
Yeah, yeah, we came up together from the first Digimon Nationals. It's cool to see us both up here and still doing our thing for sure. Well, YouTube, with that being said, that was the deck profile by Mr. Lichi, the master of black decks himself, and there's Antics here with the swole on the fro on, and I already gave you the explainer, but I'm gonna give it to you one more time. I am the Alpha Tamer. Peace.